Hi there. Thank you for the kind introduction. Again, I'm Brennan with EB5 United. Welcome here today and welcome to this session on some of the EB5 programs, some of our projects, and how we like to structure deals, as well as priority processing and how that's impacting the EB5 industry, which is a pretty big impact right now. At EB5 United, we've raised over $1.1 billion through the EB5 program over the last 14 years. We've had tremendous success in delivering over 2,000 green cards for our investors throughout that time. Here you can see our team located throughout the world. We also have a team of about 15 in our marketing department here in India. We spread out all over the world. These are projects that we've completed throughout the United States. We have a very successful track record in our history. And one thing that's really changed the industry, as I was discussing earlier, has been priority processing through the new rural designations that were implemented in 2022 in the Reform and Integrity Act that was passed. And that has really changed the EB5 program drastically, especially for Indian and Chinese investors in particular. And there was two things that happened at that time. One, they started to do this priority processing where you could invest in rural projects and obtain a green card faster. They also set visas aside for those rural projects and for high unemployment projects that you could take and skip the backlog that we had of visas for Indian and Chinese investors. That's why there was such a big drastic change for them. And then the last thing is that you can concurrent file and get a work authorization if you're in the United States while you're waiting for your green card. And so this has really changed the industry tremendously over the last 2 years. And we have more I-526E approvals than any other regional center in the industry since the RIA passed in March of 2022. We actually have, this was just from last week, we have another 10 approvals since then. So this here is showing you a chart of one of our projects that we have completed after the RIA. You can see as of now we have more than 136 in this project, but we had 134 I-526E approvals in this project. And this is showing you when the people applied on the x-axis and on the y-axis how long it took to obtain approval. In the middle you see the star. That's what's called 956F approval. Every project, when you submit a petition, the government's going to look at two things. They're going to look at your source of funds, where your money came from, and then they're going to look at the project. Is it an acceptable EB5 project? That is what is called 956F approval. So anyone who filed after I-956F approval in this project, the average processing time was 4.8 months for this. And that is what is showing you priority processing working. Like I mentioned before the RIA, you were seeing 2 to 3 years for processing. Now we're seeing 11 months before the approval and after the approval, 4.8 months on average for our processing. So this has been a huge, significant change in the EB5 industry. Right now, there's been recent data that has shown about 14 months on average for urban projects. However, that's with only 15% of all the petitions in the urban projects in the industry adjudicated versus 50% of the data that was collected approved in some of these projects. This project in particular is 65% approved. And so this is showing you very strong, realistic data times of when you can expect to receive approvals now through the EB5 program. This is showing you a quick, basic flow of how you come into the EB5 program. First, you're going to have to hire an attorney and evaluate a project. So you choose a project, you work with an attorney to source your funds, you come in, you file your I-526E. If you go into a rural designated project, you get the priority processing. If you go to any other project, then you don't receive that priority processing. And then as long as you file in a high unemployment or a rural targeted employment area, you skip that backlog. However, we've already had far more investors than visas available in high unemployment areas, which is why everyone in China and India is really flocking to rural projects right now, because they get the priority processing and they'll have a green card available without a backlog. So this has been a huge change for the industry, and here's a couple of our rural projects that we have been working on over the past year that have been very successful raises for us and very successful for our investors. This project is already approved. It already has nearly 20 I-526E approvals. Those are the investor approvals as well. And this is the Lakefront Villas and Estates. It's located in Okeechobee, Florida, right in the center of the state. So obviously a hurricane just went right over the top of it the other day, but when you're inland this far, it doesn't really impact you. It's more the storm surges on the coastline that you have impact from that, and that's where the big winds are. Once you get inland, it doesn't really have an impact. So we didn't have any damage from the storm, nor do we expect them. However, this is 1,300 homes, 1,000 for sale, 300 multifamily rentals, and this is for a community mainly of Orthodox and Hasidic Jewish people moving from New York and New Jersey who are coming from an 11% tax rate to a 0% tax rate for the state in the state of Florida. The state of Florida also pays you $7,700 per year per child to send your kid to private school, and every one of these kids has to go to private school. So it's a huge incentive. They're also going from areas in New York and New Jersey where the average home prices are over $1 million to they can buy a home here, a beautiful home, 4,000 square feet for $600,000. In this project, we are a first position lender. So you can see us, we're lending $100 million to the project, and it's a $654 million project. As a first position lender, what that means is that we don't have a bank or a senior loan in front of us. So if the developer does not repay the EB5 investors, then we have first rights to go take the project and all of the assets from the developer. And by the end of this project, we expect to have about $115 million of sales profits, as well as $360 million of commercial assets, including multifamily rental homes, kosher supermarkets, synagogues, schools, everything, all those commercial assets will be valued about $360. So that leaves us almost $500 million of total value to pay off a $100 million loan. In the EB5 program, you must put your funds at risk into each project. The way that we look at these projects is we're not the developer. We're going to act as a fiduciary. We're going to loan your money for you, and we're going to do it as safely as possible because we only make money if your loan is successful. We're on the same side of the transaction as you. So we're evaluating these deals, trying to make sure that we're investing the money as safely as possible. And because the funds have to be at risk in the program, what we want to do, and the returns in EB5 are very low, we want to make sure that we're taking as little risk as possible with your $800,000 so that you're going to be sure and confident that you're going to receive all of that back. All right, here's some renderings of this project. And then going on to our next deal, the Yellowstone Club project. This was actually just awarded, it co-won the top project award at the EB5 Investor Magazine conference in Miami. I presented it there on August 29th, and so that was a great fun event to be at. This one also has 956F approval and I-526E approval. And here, if you look at this photo, this is a great photo of the Yellowstone Club. The mountain kind of in the center there, that's the second largest public ski resort in America. It's called Lone Peak. And then to the left here, you see ski runs, and the ski runs run all off the left side of the screen as well. And they go all into that village core right there, which is at what's called the Yellowstone Club. And that's where our project that we're currently constructing is. And this is arguably the most exclusive club in the world. To be a member there, you have to purchase a home. The average price of a home is well over $15 million. The ones we're selling are $35 million. You then have to pay $500,000 to join the club, and then it's more than $120,000 a year easily to maintain your membership. The members here include Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Eric Schmidt, ex-CEO of Google, Tom Brady, Ben Affleck, Justin Timberlake, Phil Mickelson. I mean, it's billionaires, celebrities, athletes. Those are your main people who are members here. We are closing out this club. So this club had 867 members. It will only have 914. So we're building 35 homes that we're selling for $1.26 billion. And that will be 35 of the last 47 homes constructed at the Yellowstone Club. So the demand is extremely high. This right here is a photo of the first EB5 project that was already completed. It's connected to the second one here at Yellowstone Club. But this was the first EB5 project done here in Big Sky. This has been completed and repaid. We are now on the fourth EB5 project. So the second one, let's see where my slide is. So here you can see the first one was at the Yellowstone Club adjacent to our one that we're currently doing. The second one was a montage. That one was completed, repaid as well. The one and only over there, that project is the one that has more than 136 I-526E approvals, and we just completed that raise last year, and now we're raising funds for the Yellowstone Club. Here you can see the village core down there. That's a picture from a couple summers ago. And this is the blue right there is the new project that we're doing. The yellow one is already completed. So the blue is renderings, but this is photos of the construction. We always like to be very transparent with our clients, making sure that we're up at the site a lot, taking videos, getting photos, so they see everything that's going on. All right. And again, this is the map of Big Sky. Our developer here that has been developing these 4 projects, they own 91% of all of this land in Big Sky. 91%. So they control everything. They've developed not just these big projects, that's where we can raise the most EB5, but they also have done this town center, a lot of lower income housing for the people that are working there at the sites. They build a huge community center. This has been a massive, massive development. In the last 15 years, they've developed and sold. With a $520 million investment, this developer has built and sold over $15 billion of real estate in this town since 2009. So in this project, we're also a senior loan. It's what we like to do is structure our deals, again, as safely as possible. So we're raising $400 million. We're more than halfway through this raise. We're 14 months into it. And so we have more than $200 million from the investors thus far. We're raising $400 million in a first position. There's about $600 million of equity from the developer and the buyer deposits that's subordinate to us. So for our EB5 investors to lose any money on their investment, that's $583 million of equity would have to be wiped out before we could lose any money. And for our investors to lose all of their money, this project would have to be worth basically $0. And that means that this project where they're selling homes for $5,000 to $6,000 a square foot, which is about the highest price you can find anywhere except for a couple of streets in Manhattan in the United States, would have to be worth nothing. So that's why when we're looking at these projects and we're underwriting these deals, we're putting ourselves in the mindset of an EB5 investor. Okay, I'm making an investment for 3 to 5 years. I'm only going to be receiving less than 1% interest on this investment. I want to make sure I'm going to have a green card, and I want to make sure that I get my $800,000 back. And that's how we visualize these deals and structure these deals. All right? Here you can see different photos. And just lastly, the other ways to structure deals are mezzanine debt. That's probably the most common in EB5, or preferred equity, which you're more reliant on the project actually producing for you to receive any interest and receive your money back in preferred equity. And then common equity, you're pari passu with the developer. So if the project loses any money, you lose money as well. So that's why we try to stick to the safest structures possible. Here's some photos. This is the golf course at Yellowstone Club. That building is amazing. And then just to show how we repay these loans. So this one, we're selling $1.26 billion of residences. They revised that down to $340 million are going to be used on the construction of the project. That leaves us with around $900 million of net sales to pay off a $400 million loan. So an extremely safe structure. We've already sold 19 of the 35 residences. Once we sell the 23rd, we really hit that break even where that's enough funding to pay for the rest of the construction and finish the loan repayment of $400 million. And here's a few more photos of the club. And I'd invite you to come out and meet Abhishek. You can take down his WhatsApp number here as well. Abhishek's based in Pune, and he's done a great job with us for quite a few years. He just joined us at EB5 United about 3 years ago after helping fund projects throughout the EB5 industry for the last decade. He's helped more than almost 300 investors from the country of India, and he's a wealth of knowledge. So I would encourage you to come talk to our team. Harsh here as well as part of our team. Harsh and Abhishek and I will be over there, happy to have a discussion with you and answer any questions. So thank you.